Good morning, YouTube. Working on a problem here. N51. Changed the valve cover gasket, and when I put it back on, would not start. It had a no crank, or it would crank, but would not fire. Put a code reader on, and it showed no communication with the DME. As we further looked at everything, it appeared that the DME was fried. So we continued to look at that, and I sent it off to have it analyzed, and indeed it was fried. So the suggestion was to get a used DME for as cheaply as possible to connect and see if it would communicate, see what the problem is. Still haven't found a solution. I connected the used DME, which is over there, and it did not work. So after consulting with a ASE master mechanic, he suggested that I disconnect the DME, which I've done, and disconnect the coils, which I've done, disconnect the fuel injectors, which I've done, and then to check and see number one, that all of these connectors had either no positive or negative, and I did that using the Power Probe 3 tool, which you can add power or you can add a ground. So when you test using this tool, it measures whether or not there is any voltage, or it will tell you if there's a ground. So when I touch the ground, it tells me there's a ground. Okay, so that's good. That's what it's supposed to do. So if I touch the ground in the back, same thing, I have a ground. So I have tested all of those. I won't bore you with doing that, but all of those tested that there was nothing there. So as I looked at this further, then I measured all of these coils and the grounds just to see what it was reading. So on this ground connector, there's nothing. However, on this ground connector, there is a ground, and it shows 0.1 volts for some reason. When I check this coil connector, there's a ground on the orange wire, a ground on the brown wire, and nothing on the white wire. And that's the same for the first three cylinders. If I look at the back and measure, there is a ground on the orange wire. On the brown wire, there's nothing. And on the white wire, there's nothing. So my question is this, YouTube. Where in the world is this thing getting ground from when everything is disconnected? All of this is disconnected. My only thought is that this inline capacitor right here somehow is messed up, because it does have a brown wire which goes in here and goes to this unit. All wires have been inspected for damage, cannot find anything. So if you have some suggestions, that would be awesome. Please help. Thanks.